figure it out here. Yeah. No, 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 no. Yeah. Okay, so what if I told you that if a loved one recently died and you wanted to bring them back, you could. And you can do that simply by summoning an alien angel that would then live inside the body of a second person that you've kidnapped. And then you find a third person and then you kill them in the same way that your loved one died. And then you have the second person that has the angel inside their body. They can then consume part of your loved one's body and then vomit that into the third person, into their mouth. And then that would then resurrect the soul of your loved one into the body of the third person that you just killed. Does that sound like something that you might be interested in?
We can bring her back.
We are back with another Movie Monday. Sticking with horror, this time we are going to be talking about the newest A24 horror film, Bring Her Back, that is written by one of the brothers, but directed by Danny and Michael Philippou. I believe that's how you say their name. The two of them also did Talk to Me. I don't know if that was last year or the year before, but I think that I thought Talk to Me was one of the better horror releases of the last few years. So when I saw that they were coming out with their second movie, I was like, oh, I got to give this a watch. And it didn't disappoint. I think overall, Bring Her Back is good. The film follows a teenage girl named Piper who is she's not completely blind, but she can only see. I think it's like light and shapes is what she's able to see. So she's she is supposed to use a cane, um, but she can kind of navigate like a house without it. And then she has her older brother Andy, who is I think he's about 17. And in the beginning of the film, they go home. They find that their father has like slipped in the shower. He hit his head and he is dead. So the two of them become orphaned, and they are sent by the Australian, Child Protective Services to live with Laura, who's played by Sally Hawkins. And Laura is a crazy person. She's a lunatic.
I want to show you something else. This way.
We stuffed her.
I know I'm a weirdo.
She's not full crazy, but she's definitely fully crazy. Amazing performance though. I think Sally Hawkins did an incredibly good job of playing a character that has plenty of humanizing moments, plenty of scenes where you actually find yourself sympathizing with her character, and then also the complete other end of the spectrum where you're just like, holy shit, this woman is nuts. And for me, that was the best part of the film. Was every time she's on the screen, you're just like, your eyes are glued to her because you're like, what is she gonna do? There's a scene early on in the film where she takes the two kids to their father's viewing right for his funeral, and she's standing there with the son Andy, and they're looking in the open casket for his father, and the Sally Hawkins is like, oh, you should kiss your father, it's customary. And Andy doesn't want to do it. He's like, no, I really don't want to do that. He's having anxiety just looking at him. But she's insistent, and she's like standing there like rubbing his back, and she's like, just do it. It's custom. And he finally just gives in and he like leans over and he kisses his dad on the forehead. And then she like looks at him and she's like, no, no, no. On the lips. It's custom. And you're just like, what? No, it's not custom. It's not always custom to do that. Um, and that's about as good of an intro as I can give for her character. As always, I really don't want to like talk through the entire film and spoil the entire thing, but the overall gist is that Laura has lost her daughter when her daughter was 12. Her daughter drowned in the pool in the backyard. And as the trailer suggests, the whole film is about bringing her back. And we lean into some creepy VHS tape footage of these like Eastern European rituals where you can essentially like resurrect your loved one's soul in a new body. And ironically enough, the main girl, Piper, she's essentially blind. Laura's daughter was blind. You can kind of see where this is going. This is I don't want to say it's like a movie we've seen before, but fairly it's fairly familiar ground where it's like, okay, the crazy woman loses her child. She's looking for the replacement. Here comes two foster kids. One of them is exactly like her daughter, and then there's like the older brother who's like, "Oh, when I turn 18 next year, I'm gonna apply for custody," and obviously Laura doesn't like that. Um, so I think it's safe to say that like if this movie was done by like like a Blumhouse or something a little more mainstream, I think this movie could have easily been bad. But two movies in a row is kind of proving that the Philippou brothers know what they're doing when it comes to horror. Um, this one is very tense throughout the whole movie, especially the ending. Like the last maybe 15 or 20 minutes of the movie, I was like sitting here in my office watching it last night, and I'm kind of like sitting here like this, just watching. So they does a really good job of building the tension. Um, Lots of body horror. That was the one thing when I went into the movie. I'm thinking like Talk to Me is in my head before I start watching. Talk to Me is very paranormal related. There's a lot of ghosts and that flavor of horror, and then you kind of watch the trailer for this, and you're like, I don't really know what to expect. I just went into it assuming we're gonna get more kind of ghosty shit. And there's certainly some paranormal and fantastical bits to it, but for the most part, it's just like it's creepy, unnerving, like tension that's just hanging in the household of this woman Laura. And then yeah, there's some scenes, man, that I was having a hard time looking at, just in terms of the gore and the body horror. Where you're just like, oh, okay, we're still lingering. We're still lingering on this shot. We're still showing it. Um, but it was good, man. I thought that the only knock, if I'm gonna sit here and try to think of some sort of complaint I could have with the movie, it's that maybe when you get around the halfway point, the pacing seemed to like kind of struggle a bit. Where in the beginning of the movie, the film does such a good job of like, okay, now the kids have moved into this woman's home, and then now the movie's kind of teeing up all these little questions. It's like, okay, well, what's up with I should have mentioned, Laura has another child living in her house who she's fostering. Um, he is the creepy ass boy from the trailer with the shaved head. His name is Ollie. I won't get too much into that, other than he's just, from the get go, he's just like, okay, this is the freaky kid, and he's here to be freaky, and that's about it. But yeah, the movie introduces him. There's other things in her house and in areas of her house that they keep intentionally shrouded in mystery. So for the first half of the film, they just keep like adding these like layers, and you're like, oh, what is up with this? What's up with this kid? Or what's in that room? Why does the kid keep going in that room at night with Laura? All these questions, and then it felt like maybe sorry, I thought there was like a ghost at my door. Maybe about like halfway through, it felt like they had answered a lot of the questions, and so you kind of know, okay, this is where this movie's going. This is how it's what the finale will be. But it just kind of takes a while to just get there, right? There's no more mysteries that are keeping you invested in watching it. You're like, okay, we all know what needs to happen. Let's just kind of speed up the train a little bit. That would be my only complaint. Um, Things that in general just worked for me. Again, I thought that the sense of dread, the tension that the movie builds and maintains throughout is really good, and all the performances are great. I did mention Sally Hawkins. She puts in like one of those, I think, top notch horror performances. It makes me think of like a Kathy Bates in Misery type performance. I thought I have to think. I believe her name is Sora Wong plays Piper, the blind girl who is, yeah, she's your main character. I thought she did a pretty dang good job, and I thought that the brother, who I believe is yeah, Billy Barat, he did a really good job too. The three of them, the movie kind of revolves around these three characters of Laura, Andy, and Piper. All three of them are really strong, and that's another thing where I could see, like, if this was like a Blumhouse movie, maybe you don't get quite as good performances, or you don't get as good of talent as they had for this movie, and then it kind of falters because you're watching like just an unbelievable dynamic between the foster kids and Laura. We don't have that here. The movie was great. Um, if I have to go yes, no, it's definitely a yes. Would recommend. But again, if you're freaked out by body horror, I would steer clear, especially if you don't like teeth stuff. There's lots of teeth problems in this. But that's it. Definitely recommend. Thumbs up. I definitely look forward to whatever these Philippou brothers do next. I hope I'm saying that right. Pretty sure it's Philippou. But yeah, they're promising, man. It kind of feels like that rise that Jordan Peele had, where it's nice to see some new blood in the horror film space. And A24, man, A24 continues to put out, by and large, good good films. They're not afraid to get really weird. They're not afraid to be a little unconventional, and we like that here. We like weird stuff. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Peace. You smell like booby milk. And that's alright with me. Booby milk. Breast milk.